This quote I heard recently really sums up why I'm here, and that is, people need to go where the silence is and say something. I'm here to stand up, use my voice, and demand that sexual violence as a weapon of war, rape as an instrument of genocide will be more fully addressed. I would love to. First, I want to say I'm so honored to be here amongst all of you.
If they did, it was just a few people, and I was usually met with glazed eyes. So to have an issue relevant to Africa.
The war in Darfur actually is being fought in women's bodies. They are subjected to being raped repeatedly. Our community is now a completely traumatized community, and if leaders around the world doesn't take this violence against women seriously, so it is hard for Darfur women to go back to normal, and it's hard for us to get our community to be as stable community and connected as in the past.
It's been, I would say, only really in the last 15 or 16 years that rape has been widely recognized as a war crime. For centuries, rape crimes had largely been ignored in war. It was considered a byproduct of war, inevitable, and inconsequential almost. And in the early 1990s, you have reporters reporting daily on mass violence in the former Yugoslavia. Hundreds of thousands of women were raped during that period. And also you had the treaty to establish the Permanent International Criminal Court, and that was in Rome in 1998. The treaty establishes in the statute rape, enforced prostitution, sexual slavery, enforced sterilization, forced pregnancy, and other forms of violence of comparable gravity as war crimes and crimes against humanity in the statute. Extraordinary, groundbreaking. There was an enormous amount of momentum to recognize that rape crimes are extremely serious crimes. The judgments of these tribunals by now had said some of the most serious crimes committable. Certainly in Darfur, it has been part of the first indictment. And then more recently, last year, of course, the president was charged with rape as an instrument of genocide, rape as a crime against humanity, and rape as a war crime, and 10 of the charges against him. Phenomenal, groundbreaking.
In 2004, Physicians for Human Rights documented what was happening in Darfur by speaking to a number of refugees in Chad. Myself and Dr. Jennifer Leaning, who was with Harvard School of Public Health, and I went there and spoke to probably about, I think, 35 refugees, many women, being part of those discussions. And from those discussions and from that documentation, we found that there were indicators of genocide, is what we called it, that there was a systematic pattern of rape. When we came back, we decided that one of the first things that we needed to do was to write a report on rape in Darfur and how it is being used as a weapon of war. So when we came back and wrote this report about rape, the primary finding was that the military forces attacking the non-Arab people of Darfur, Janjaweed, in collaboration with the government of Sudan, inflicted a massive campaign of rape as a deliberate aspect of their military assault against the livelihoods of these people. We found in our livelihood study that 20% of women were either raped or sexually assaulted, and that these women had to suffer long-term consequences. And I'd just like to list what those consequences are from this report. Long-term disabling physical, psychological, and emotional and spiritual scars, disowned by husbands and families, spoiled candidates for marriage, community abandonment and social isolation, possible prosecution for adultery, difficulty in raising children who are born from sexual assault, broken bones, internal and external bleeding, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, nightmares, social phobias, general and physical complaints.
I was in Kosovo during the war. I went to the refugee camps and interviewed women and did similar thing, art projects with kids in the refugee camps to find out what their experience of war had been. And one particular woman that I met really stands out because she had the biggest smile and was laughing, and I gave her my lipstick because she loved the color. And we got to talking, and she told me through a smile and then some tears that 2 years before, her, in the middle of the night, these soldiers had come, Serbian soldiers, and killed her husband in front of her, and then raped her repeatedly in front of her 3-year-old and her 5-year-old. She understood that it was an instrument of genocide in that the language that they were using was, you're going to have a Serbian baby now. It was so devastating, and especially the effects on her children, because then when her 5-year-old, who was now 7, was drawing his painting, there was a picture of his mother and a soldier and blood. And how could a child ever forget that? How could someone get over that? How could a woman get over that? The beauty of it is, if there is any beauty in it, is that she did get over it. These women are so incredibly resilient. They are the fabric of our society, and that is the most powerful part of our society that keeps everyone together, is our women.
It really is important for women to come together and unite around the issue of violence against women, but not only women, obviously the men who care about women. What we recognize is that the crisis in Darfur is not simply a manifestation of violence in women in Darfur, but certainly we are seeing around the world a culture of violence against women that very much operates with impunity. So it's not just the rape of women in Darfur. We've also heard about the bride burnings in India, and even domestic violence in areas in our country that have an impact on women. So for all of us collectively to speak out is to make it clear to the perpetrators of crime against women, no, we're not doing that. We're not sitting by and allowing you to take out yet another woman. We will stand by, we will speak with one voice, we will act up if we have to in order to ensure that all women know justice.